Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us today for the UKRAS webinar. So today we have a webinar on EU funding, building consortium and proposal development. Joining me, I have Dr. Matteo Severiano from University of Trento. And we have two speakers today, including myself and Matteo. Matteo is the coordinator of EU Horizon Inverse, and I am a coordinator for the EU Horizon Harmonica. So both of us have some experience in EU proposal development, and today we would like to share our journey toward the EU funding. So for the agenda today, so I give briefly introduce the uk-ras network, and then we will have the first talk from the Dr. Matteo Severiano, and the second will be myself, and then we will have the discussion, question and answer, and closing remarks. So just quickly, the aim of the uk-ras network, the aim of this network is that it will benefit all UK academics who are involved directly in robotics and autonomous systems, as well as academics whose research is focused in areas that are linked to robotics, such as sensor control and power management. And uk-ras, we have three key pillars. The first one is fundamental research, and the second one is internalization, and the third one is ECR. Then for the next agenda, can I invite Dr. Matteo Severiano to present his journey toward the Inverse project. Matteo,
Okay.
can you, if you're ready,
sure.
can you start?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, do you see my slide deck, my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mian, for inviting and for the basically kind and warm introduction. So today I will present a little bit about myself and some basically hints basically that I learned while preparing and now luckily running the Inverse project. So first of all, a bit about me. So I am associate professor now in Trento, and basically Trento is located, in the north of Italy, close to the Dolomites. Okay. Just a second, I have this annoying window from Teams. Okay. Basically close to the Dolomites, and here we have now basically our Hydra labs, that is basically joint labs between my department and the Department of Computer Science, and basically full equipped labs and other stuff. So it was very basically good environment to start for me, basically my tenure track. And in actually 2023 and 2024, we were quite successful with European projects, and we basically managed to secure Magician, that is an innovation action project, so more applied, that we also coordinate, not me, but my colleague Daniele Fontanelli, and Inverse, basically, that is actually the large European project I'm currently coordinating. So our basically joint lab spans 4 areas: intelligent robotics, medical and assistive robotics, social robotics, and field robotics, but I'm mostly focusing on industrial robotics and medical robotics at the moment, and actually Inverse is, of course, within the area of industrial robotics. So just a bit of presentation. So this is, again, part of what I think you have to do when you want to secure funding. So one of the basically first things that you should make sure to do is to, I don't know what is this. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. In order to secure funding is, I think, to consolidate a very solid publication record in a specific area. So this is basically some activities, and unfortunately, I don't know why the videos are not currently working, but yeah, apologize for that. So basically, I have basic works on imitation learning, continual learning, learning on meshes, interaction with the human, passivity, and other type of stuff. So luckily here you can see instead the videos, some recent activities. So on the top video you see some example of continual learning, where basically the robot has been trained to continuously learn different tasks without forgetting. And on the bottom, you have some applications of basically human-aware motion planning with some basically safety specification in typical collaborative scenarios. Quickly about medical applications. So all this know-how and background that we have in physical interaction has been applied to medical applications, basically where, as you see, we are in this case performing teleoperated, semi-autonomous ultrasound echography with the patient here. And yeah, this paper has been published this year to RAL. And basically, we are guiding through some virtual fixtures and enforcing some safety constraints the robot such that it stays in the interesting area. For example, for lung ultrasound is basically the area between the bones, because if you just scan the bone, you just get a black light because it's not reflecting the light, and smoothly interacting with the human. We also have another branch, basically of running approaches, where we identify tissue properties using robot palpation and basically force measurements. This is indeed effective, for example, to detect lesion, tumors, and other type of stuff. Okay, so this was a little bit very, very broad and general overview on our and my research activities. As I said, basically, I mean, first step before preparing grants is to have some publication. So trust, credibility in front of the reviewers that have to evaluate you. Let me give you a little bit now about the inverse project. So this is just a dissemination video that actually we have prepared. I don't know if you hear the sound, but basically whenever you have industrial applications, so robots have been deployed, but if you see, like in this type of situations where the environment is not perfectly structured, still robots struggles. And basically this is where we want to intervene with the inverse project. And in particular, our goal is to let the robot disassemble basically products and goods, knowing the assembly plan. Okay, so this is the scientific selling point of inverse. How we can disassemble something, knowing basically how to assemble it by minimizing actually the learning, interactions, and this type of things. And in this, basically, towards this, we have instantiated this that we call the Mockle loop, multimodal control and learning and interaction loop. And yeah, you see basically here some preliminary results of the inverse project that, I mean, we are trying to push forward. So here, for example, some application of reinforcement learning with human interaction. Okay, so to speed up basically these policies actually and do learning on robots, we have basically developed this system, and yeah, we were able to successfully connect these BCI connectors within 1 hour training. This is one of our basically use cases provided by the Stellantis group that is about disassembling of battery cells. These are typical batteries that you find in electrical cars. You see that it can be, relatively complex. So, I mean, disassembling for recycling is actually one of our basically use cases. And I guess, yeah, I mean, this is basically going on. You see all the complex operation. The other use case is in heavy mechanical industries, where basically we have here proposed a new paradigm where we have, you see the robot manipulator, the human that is controlling an overhead crane. You only see the harness here of the crane. So this is basically to move and assemble or disassemble large mechanical components. Again, this is a new basically interaction basically protocol that we have developed, and we are still basically working on it. And here you see actually some preliminary results. So, and then I mean, we hope basically to scale this in let's say more massive production, and serve especially SMEs and all the like companies that need rapid reconfiguration of their production. As I said, I think the project started in 24, it will end in 27, so 4 years, and 12 partners and 8 million euros. Okay, so this was a short presentation of basically myself and my research activities. So now in the second part of the presentation, I will just try to give you some hints on how to, prepare a competitive proposal. So I always like when I try to basically write proposal to start, let's say, from science, especially in research and innovation action projects or other type of schemes. And basically, what I think it's good to do in the first stage of the project is to brainstorm with a few people, two more partners, about a catchy scientific ideas, a catchy scientific selling point. So, this has to be, of course, a strong scientific idea, but also easy, basically, to sell. And I think that kind of inverse was successful because of this, because basically we are taking a serious problem that is, in general, the problem of out-of-distribution generalization, because basically disassembling is clearly a shifted domain within assembly, but easy to explain, okay, and catchy. So of course we could connect easily to recycling, the Green Deal, and all this type of things. Okay, so take your time, spend time on consolidating something and trying to explain as easy as possible at the very beginning of the proposal. After you have this catchy scientific selling point, what you do for? Then I would say you can look for the right call. So many people do the opposite. No, many people find, so you're a roboticist, and then you go to the funding and tender portal, the one that I just reported here, and you look for the next robotic call. And then whatever the call is about, you try to squeeze your idea within that call. This is often, you can succeed like this. I wouldn't say no, but I think this reduces your chances. Okay, because if the idea and the call match naturally very well, then your chances are high. And also this basically connects to the quality of basically the final proposal, but I would come back on this point later. Okay, now you have a catchy scientific idea and you really like to work on that. Okay, so this is also important for personal motivation. While writing, you have to really believe that your idea is the winning one, is the real, and if you don't want to work on something, how can you write something, really putting passion and transmitting this to the other people? Once you have this, basically, then I would suggest to think about use cases, okay? And in recent calls in robotics, you need at least 2 use cases, better if you have 3. In harmonica, I think we have 4. Mien will tell you later, right? And of course, important, this use case should fit your idea. No, the use case should serve the scientific idea in order to basically show that you can apply that and you can scale that to more realistic scenarios. Okay, it should not be basically killing your idea. Once you have these use cases, then you have to start to fill holes and gaps in your consortium, okay? And then you can look around. I don't know, you miss a perception partner, and in our case, for example, we had the DLR that has a big perception for robotics group. You miss some, person that does design, social science and humanities, user study, usability studies, and so on, because maybe it's required for the call, or because the company is required, because they are really interested in then having follow-up ideas. And then in our case, we had included Mondragon University, and so on and so forth. And in this phase, I think you have to, if you are the coordinator, you have to be, very, very strict. So all of us collaborate with people. We have a lot of friends and in the community, but a project requires also diversity. Okay, you cannot write a RIA grant with 12 or 12 partners that all work in your field. So normally you basically, it's normal that you collaborate and interact with people that are in your field or close. When I'm in your field, I don't mean robotics, but your subfield. For example, in my case, robot learning or better imitation learning. Of course, I know a lot of people that do imitation learning, reinforcement learning, mixture of these and so on. I could not invite all of them in inverse. Okay, it's counterproductive to think like this. So, in a word, you will have to say no to friends. Okay, and I had to say no to very close friends and collaborators to keep the consortium heterogeneous and functional to the core. Okay, then I mean it's about writing. Now many people are afraid on basically this LLM foundational model Gen AI writing of the text. I use them. Okay, it's not. I mean, at that time I didn't use because this technology that now it's very pervasive, but it's like 3 years ago, and unfortunately I had to write inverse before that. So I really wrote every single words of inverse, or I mean, the consortium wrote it. Now I use it, of course, but basically I use, to refine things, or if you are blocked when you write, I mean, you have to write in the end a document. Now it's 40 pages, I think. Before it was 45, so it starts to be a relatively big document. So why not? It could be a good start and so on. But I still think that nowadays proposals completely written by AI has no chance to be founded. Okay, so the competition is so high, reviewers are so strict that really you need all the right pieces. Okay, and I don't think that you have to be afraid of competing with the proposal that have been prepared, in a short time, relying heavily on tools that can prepare the proposal basically almost independently or almost alone. In the end, basically, the competition will be always about a few projects. Okay, so if let's assume you found a call, there are 4 projects funded, and normally in robotics you will have 90 to 120 submissions. Okay, so the success rate is below 4%. That's what is today. But this is not the true success rate. So don't be discouraged in writing proposals, because in the end, there will be maybe 10 to 15% of proposals that are good. Okay, and if you did the things properly, you will be competing only, let's say, with them. Okay, then among 100 proposals, maybe 10 to 15 are really good, and then you have chances. Okay, with these 4 that get funded. Okay, so don't get discouraged by the huge numbers. It's well known that 70% of the proposal, this was even before the LLMs era, 70% of the proposal have been written, in the last month before the call closed, with consortia that were not really, synchronized or nicely working together and so on. And then the reviewer realized this quickly. Okay, so that's basically my basically suggestion for you. Last things, basically, I basically have been asked to put a couple of possible topics for MSCA postdoctoral fellows. I think now is the time for this. So if you are interested, I basically had a couple of ideas. I'm trying to basically get funding to work on this. So one is basically learning differentiable simulators from videos. So one of the problems nowadays in robot learning is the scarcity of data. But we have, tons of data available on YouTube. And you as a human, if you don't know how to do something nowadays, you just Google it, and how to repair my sink, how to cook my porridge soup or whatever, right? And then you just follow instruction and look at the people doing it. What if we can do this with robot? I mean, this can be, I guess, very, very disruptive. What I would like to do as the first step is to basically take videos and learn physically plausible simulators, and there basically you can apply whatever you has been already done, reinforcement learning and other things like this, and then basically deploy on the real robot. So this is one possibility if you like basically to work on this topic. Another topic that I'm investigating recently, partially in inverse and partially also outside it, is lifelong learning with safety guarantees. So basically at the moment we have big policies in imitation learning that requires a lot of training and so on. So how we can then keep updating the policy, learning new tasks without forgetting safely interacting with the environment in a basically efficient manner. Okay, so I think basically these two can be good topics for an NSCA postdoctoral fellow. Okay, with this, I thank you. I hope I was kind of in time.
Thank you, Matheus.
Thank
so
you.
we will follow up question and answer later after my presentation. Okay.
Yeah, awesome.
So the next speaker is myself. My name is Mieng Wang, and I'm a reader in robotics and intelligent control. I am a coordinator of Harmonica, and I'm based in Queen's University, Belfast. So this is outlines of my presentation today. So the first one, I give outline my background and my research group, and then I give overview the EU funding, and I will discuss about Harmonica, a successful proposal building story, and then I give talk about the consortium building and proposal development. So this is the overall of my research group. In my research group, we cover the topics of robotics and AI in intelligent control. So how to apply AI in intelligent control for robotics. So at the moment, we have around 10 members and working in different areas like underwater vehicle, manufacturing vehicle, electric robot, drones, and manipulator. Here, quick some demo of our research. So you see, for example, this one for ground vehicle. We do for the safety critical control for the ground vehicle, and we also do some SLAM nonlinear model predictive control for the autonomous drone. For the indoor drones for inspection, we have a funded project by Innovate UK. And we also do a numbers of applications for the manufacturing, for example, how to apply digital twin and AI for manufacturing, for learning, for the assembly. Another application, we also have one project funded by the STL for underwater. So I don't know why the video not working. But this funded project by the STL, so we try to extend the inspection coverage of the AUV by deploying multiple AUV. You can see of this work very well, and we deliver very well for the project for different applications. So if you are interested in our group, feel free to get in touch to be a collaboration. And for the next, this will be the main talk today. So for the EU funding, this is just an overview, and I believe many of you know it already. The European Union funding is primarily structured around the Horizon Europe Research and Innovation Framework. It is divided into three core pillars. The first one is excellent science, and the second is global challenges and European industrial competitiveness. And the third one is innovative Europe, and it is run by the EIC. And for example, as Matteo mentioned, for the EU funding in Pillar 2 is very, to me, very highly competitive for related robotics and AI course. For example, recently I was involved in 3 submissions for 3 different courses. The first one is about the, let's say, the drones for inspection or inspection technology for offshore wind, and they received 74 submissions, and they got fund 3 proposals, so acceptance rate around just 4%. And the second one is about the construction robotics, also acceptance rate is smaller than 4%. And a very recent AI call, the 2-stage call, 191 submission, and they give fund 5 proposals. So the accept rate you see just nearly 2%. It is very, very high competitive. And how to win, it depends on many factors. But I can say you need to have the excellent ideas and a strong consortium and a bit of luck, because it is a very high competitive. And for the America, this project is coordinated by me, and this involves 15 partners, including University of Trento, the Matteo, the PI from the University of Trento. And how the proposal generated, the first one, as Matteo mentioned, we need to find a relevant call. For example, in my call, so this is physical and cognitive augmentation in advanced manufacturing. And if you find the call, then you need to try to understand the core scope and expected outcomes. This is very important. In many calls, they ask you to cover all the core scope and cover all expected outcomes. In some calls, they just expect you maybe cover 1 or 2 core scope and 1 or 2 expected outcomes. So different calls have a different expectation. And then beyond the core and the scope, maybe I go in the reverse way of Matthew mentioned. So he mentioned he could generate idea first, but in my case, so I find the core that I can build my, the background and knowledge or the expertise into the core. Then I give generate ideas. So I can think about which technology can be the excellence for this core. So you see in the core topic, you mentioned about physical and cognitive augmentation. So in that case, in your proposal, you need to cover both physical and cognitive augmentation. So in that case, I was thinking about for example, for physical, what I can deploy it, or what innovation I can have for the physical augmentation, and what innovation I can have for the cognitive augmentation. Then I can think about, for example, how to apply robotics for the physical augmentation. So you see, we have many kind of robotics, drone, underwater ground vehicle, and then what kind of technology approach this can be applied for the physical augmentation. And for the cognitive augmentation, with similar questions, what kind of can be the excellent idea and novel idea in this area? So can AI, VR, or how to accept the cognitive load can be an innovative idea. So beyond that, so I will work out through that beyond my knowledge, and also thinking about how to maybe make them from the cognitive or physical augmentation into a unified framework. And then beyond that, I will develop a framework that can cover both physical and cognitive augmentation. After I have the framework, then I am thinking about how to build the consortium. So I will look around my network and who can contribute to the idea. For example, when I go with the robotics, so I'm thinking about, for example, how can the robot can maybe help the people in the hazardous components. So that's why I'm thinking about the Mateus from the University of Trento. He is expert in the robotics learning and maybe can help me with the robotics and skill learning. So that's why we have the partners from the University of Trento. Similar, so we have another partners to cover different areas. For example, AI, robotics. We have the robot need to supply the robotics platform, and we have another area, another partners to cover the AI, VR, or human-machine interaction, computer vision, and digital twins. Then after I complete the core expertise, then I'm thinking about which kind of pilots I can have. In our proposal, we are targeting for the recycling manufacturing. So I'm thinking about which kind of partners can cover the pilots and living labs for the recycling. So I will come up with the partners GHI for the pilot. So as Matthew mentioned, we need to have at least 2 pilot partners working in the area. So this is, for example, you see the core, the detail of the core. You have the scope and expected outcome. You see you have the list. And in this core, you expect the proposal to cover all the scope and expected outcome. So you need to keep this in mind in the develop the proposal. You need to, your proposal need to cover all the areas and expected outcomes. So beyond that, I developed the idea that I said I put together into framework, robotics, AI, and VR system. And then I'm thinking about the core innovation here. You can see the core innovation here will be the adaptive human-machine interface and user adaptive interface, and using how to use the AI human-centric and also human robot collaboration in this area. Beyond that framework, I built in the consortium. Some partners focus on robotics, some partners focus on the digital twin AI VR system, and some partner focus on pilot. For example, in this one, we have 3 pilots from EMR, Veolia, and Pronabert from Netherlands. And after we have the concept building, then the proposal writing. To me, proposal writing is the excellent part is the key. It's very important, because if we have the great idea, we have the excellent idea, then the impact and implementation will be a follow-up, and you have very nice impact. In that case, the impact session can be much easier. And similar to the material idea, we need to write a proposal in such a way that we can easily cast the excellence of the proposal. So this is, different people have a different writing skill, and different consortium will have different approaches. So it depends on your, the experience. And then the budget allocation and negotiation, this is the head stake, but you need to handle that if you are the coordinator. And let's say the EU proposal is very, very time consuming. Last time they asked around 50 pages, now they reduced to 45 pages. And usually you need to spend at least 3 to 6 months for this proposal. And then after finish the proposal, you submit it and rest, and can say with no hope in mind. Why I say that? Because the competitivity high. Actually, when I submitted a proposal, I think I have no hope in mind, to be honest. And then you need to think about, for example, I mentioned 3 to 6 months for proposal writing with 2 to 5% success rate. It's worth trying. So you need to ask yourself, did you get an excellent idea and your consortium is good enough to bid? If not, then do you need to spend 3 to 6 months to write a proposal that cannot compete with other consortium? That is, you can justify about your idea and your consortium. Similar to Matteo, so I also mentioned a next opportunity for MSc postdoc opportunity. So if you are interested in applying for early career researcher at the postdoc stage, so I'm happy to support the topic, for example, human-robot collaboration, multi-agent systems, lumbar inspection, or resilient risk-aware autonomy, and advanced manufacturing. And I would like to thank my robotics research group and also Harmonica Consortium. And my research is funded by different funders, NERC, Royal Society, the STL, ECR Innovate UK, UKRAS, and ONR, and European Union. So I will stop sharing, and then we can go to the question and answer session. So if you have any question, can you raise your hand? For either for Matteo or for myself. In the meantime, maybe I can ask Matteo. What is the main challenges you got when you preparing the inverse proposal?
You mean during the writing?
Yeah, in both in consortium building and writing.
So consortium build, I mean, I would say some people tend to postpone their reply to you, and some, and it's not that easy to enforce deadlines when you have 10, 15 partners. It's very sometimes hard to stay with deadlines and so on. And yeah, I mean, we are in academia, we're not really, we tend to postpone everything at the very late moment, and people asking you for extensions, and you are there, spending your days on writing this proposal, and I don't know, you ask alpha page of contribution that doesn't come. This you need to keep your nerve.
How about the pilot? How did you come up with the pilots? Pilot partners, I think is very one of
Yeah,
the
that's
challenges to find the suitable partners.
yeah. That's I mean, luckily we had already a previous collaboration with the Stellantis group, and then basically when he had this idea of learning this disassembling patterns, let's say from assembly ones, then it was natural to think about recycling, like e-waste or things like that. And then we had this collaboration with the Stellantis group, and then we just asked them, and then they immediately say yes, we can do something really with the batteries, and that was very clear. The other one, honestly, it was so we have in the consortium, we have a partner that is dedicated to dissemination and exploitation. I mean, that are very good. I'm very happy with them, Steinbeis. And of course, they being them their one of their task, the exploitation, they have contact with a lot of companies, and then they actually provide contacts for the other one. But yeah, you are right. It's not easy, especially approaching large groups. They if you don't have a direct contact in a big company, normally your email is never answered.
Mhm. Uh, I don't know if this happened to you. If you have some experience, for example, in the last minute, some partners withdraw. Did you face that
I
in
had,
that
I
challenging?
had it.
Oh,
I think it was probably the same call that you mentioned on robotic in construction or something. That was last year. So we wrote the project. It was there, and the coordinator was a company, a construction company, and they never show up. So basically, they were contacted by another partner that was like really acting as the coordinator, writing everything and so on. And then 1 week, no, 2 weeks before the deadline, one I don't know, CTO, whatever he was from the company, just show up in a meeting and started to criticize the proposal and so on. And then he ended the meeting say, this is not in the business, the core business of the company anymore, so we will not coordinate it. And
yes, it occurred to me as well for another, it's not in Hamburger, but in another proposal.
yeah,
So
yeah,
usually for that scenario, we ask around the consulting partners if they have any connection with other pilots. Maybe we can change a bit of a pilot's partner, and then we
yeah.
work around that approach. So another question from the chat from the Kim Thiên Lee. So she has a question. Do you have any tips for finding or reaching out the partners, including both academics and industry partners? Let's say how to reach out the partners and invite them yeah, for a shop.
So I would say, if I can go first, yeah, I think.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So, I mean, academic partner, in my experience, are much easier to reach,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
So normally, if you just write some nice email to some people in academia, or maybe a couple of people, like I don't know, if you only have like a professor, maybe you can also look for some I don't know, junior people in his group, and ask to join a consortium, and so for the I mean, like, being the coordinator is not easy. So if you look for the coordinator,
yeah.
then it's hard. But once you have the coordinator, I would say 90% of the academic partner that you contact will probably say yes, I will join you. You know, that's to me, from my experience, never a problem to find an academic partner, right?
Yeah.
For industry is more complicated. So yeah, if you better to go through personal contacts. So if you have a partners, you know, asking your partners and then trying to go with, you know, personal connection, that's normally works.
Yeah. I have the same experience as the Matthew. So usually academic partner, you have no problem. Everybody say yes. Coordinator is different role. It require lots of effort. But yeah, if you are coordinator, you need to balance between academics and industry partners. So usually in the course, so I usually try to limit the academic partner by maybe two or three university only. I don't for the research and innovation or innovation course. So the industry partner will have more impact and they know how to implement the technologies, especially for innovation action course. So you need to have more industry partners. Usually, I will come up with maybe three academic partner, and then some RTO, and then I think the rest is the industry partner for technology providers and some industry partner for pilots. Yeah. And yes, Andrew. Andy, yeah.
Thanks so much, Min, and thanks, Matteo, for the wonderful talk. I just a slightly different question around kind of securing the funding, more around actually when you are funded in the whole process. I've never been involved directly with an EU project, but I hear it's quite bureaucratic. Is that something you've experienced? Any advice for people around navigating and how to make your life easy?
You mean after you get the funding? After you secure the funding? Okay. Well, I wouldn't say, I mean, it is bureaucratic. It's quite bureaucratic. And being the coordinator, I mean, I'm having very hard time to do, you know, other stuff. I mean, one thing that definitely could reduce your basically like bureaucratical duties is to have a good consortium, of course. So I'm quite happy with my inverse consortium. I can really rely on a few partners. Like I would say, out of 12, I normally can rely on at least on 8 partners. So when there is a deliverable, of course, then as a coordinator, I read everything before submitting. But normally, you know, when there is a deliverable, it comes 3-4 days before the deadline in a very good shape and everything like this. So this definitely helps a lot. This is, I mean, it's also part of your ability on how to build a consortium. For example, in my case, I was relatively happy because I moved a lot before, you know, like stabilizing and getting a tenured position. So I had a lot of contacts, and you know, I put a few people in the consortium that were, you know, very active from the beginning, from the writing part, and then of course they are still very active. Yeah. So this is basically one thing that you have to do, and some help from your university. For example, now it's very common. We also did the same. So we put budget to hire a person in the administration, and she's really helping us a lot with, you know, filtering emails and things like that. So these are my 2 recommendations. And the rest, yeah, you have to sacrifice a bit. You are the coordinator, you know.
I have the similar answer, I guess. Usually, to be honest with you, when I start the proposal, EU proposal, if I am a coordinator, I need to have at least 3 to 5 best friends, I can say. What the best friends are, I mean, they dedicate time for proposal writing, for the proposal review, and when the project funded, they will help you to explore. For example, we have many roles in the consortium, like the data management, exploitation, or dissemination, many. So you need to have some friend to help you on that. And I can say the best friend is very good. Best friend, it means they are really, really, they're close to you and talk with you in the honest way and happy way or something like that. So they can help you a lot. If not, I can never go with the coordinator. It's very, very time consuming and headache. Okay, and the other question from audience. Okay, another question for Matteo. How we have many calls coming. How do you select the call for that fit into your idea?
That's normally I used to look only at robotic calls, basically, which are I mean you can easily open. I mean, there is normally a PDF. No, every 2 years the commission basically publishes this PDF with all the calls for the next 2 years, and then basically you can look for the keywords robot and so on. But this is, I think, a very rudimental way of doing it. So I don't know actually. What is definitely so something that I learned also from Harmonica is that sometimes if you find a call in a slightly different domain, then maybe you are even more appreciated. No, like in Harmonica, for example, me and you. I mean, the call was about manufacturing, right?
Yeah,
And yeah, me and you, we do robotics mostly. Yeah, why not apply to manufacturing? But we are not exactly. We cannot sell ourselves as manufacturing experts. But in the end, I think we were, we built a nice consortium with strong expert in manufacturing, and our contribution, I think, was well received because
yeah,
of bringing something new in a different domain. So I started to think more and more how to go for this type of calls
yeah,
rather than staying in purely robotics things. But I don't have a good thing. Also, recently I started to do search with ChatGPT or Gemini. It helps to just you just give the link and so on and ask which are the call more relevant to robotics and so on. It comes
yeah,
out with a reasonable selection, I would say.
yeah, yeah. I did the same thing. I go, for example, search keyword like the robotics and manufacturing, and also if I have some, for example, some target in mind, then I can ask again my best friends if you have any idea to coordinate the proposal, then if I can contribute something like that. Okay. So another question is how do you handle the finance the budget allocation? I think that is also tough for the proposal writing.
Yeah, that's not easy, because I mean everyone has expectations, and then you have to narrow it down to the proposal. I think there is no clear solution because everything. I mean, you should balance that with the activities, but of course, if a partner wants more, it just puts more effort in the proposal, right? And then you kind of have to balance. So what we did basically was to try to balance the workload of everyone in terms of person month. So that's very helpful in the. No, normally in the European in the template there is this table with all the
Yeah,
work packages, all the partners, right? And it's like a grid and the person months. Then in the end, I had a look at that, and I saw some strange things, like for example, the work package leader having much less person months than partners, and this is, I don't think, good, right? So I mean, if you are the work package leader, you should put at
yeah,
at least comparable effort with the other. You cannot put 20% month and then there was a partner with 44. This was absolutely
yeah,
not possible. So basically, what I did was to try to balance these things, and then in the end we had to go for a linear cut, but that was not that much. I think we had to cut like 25 euros roughly for each partner, and just to feed in to enter the project budget.
Okay.
But yeah, these are basically the requirements basically. So everyone has expectations, and then in the end, as the coordinators, you decide, but you also should have a look, at not making people unhappy. Yeah.
Yes. And another question is, for example, if you have the conflict interest between the partners, maybe some, for example, two industrial partners, they have maybe a similar contribution. How do you handle it?
Sorry again. Come again.
For example, if you have the interest conflict between the partners, for example, two
Okay.
industrial
Okay.
partners, maybe they have maybe closely advertise. For example, they do digital twin, another also digital twin. How do you handle it?
That's not. I mean, if it's with academic partners, I would say it's much easier. You can define boundaries and so on, and people adapt. With industrial partner, it's going. I think it's hard. It didn't happen to me so far, but from my experience with industrial partner, it's not easy. They're really focused on keeping the intellectual property of what they do and stuff like that. So definitely draw some clear boundaries such that they don't have big overlap, and they just collaborate because maybe they have to there are common methodologies between use cases and something like that. But yeah, my recommendation is to keep industrial partner as much separated as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there any question from the audience? This is opportunities to get more insight. Okay, so another question from me as well. I have many questions,
Okay.
but the time limit. But this is actually opportunity to share the experience. When you run in the EU proposal, so project, how do you manage a project from beginning?
So I mean, basically we started some. Of course, mailing lists clearly, right? So
Yeah.
basically to basically have a communication channel, and then we decide to the periodic meetings for each work package, or groups of work package, like could be in harmonica, and then basically try to allocate from the very beginning some fundamental tasks to people, and let people take their responsibilities, especially work package leaders. I think that's how basically we started. And then in the first phase of the project, we also had to define clearly the use cases, the metrics, evaluation metrics, and so on. This also helps because then everybody gets on board, and everybody starts to have an idea of what to do and so on, and what is the what to push forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have any some partners that maybe how can I say the late in the deliverable? So how can you handle it?
Yes.
Maybe
Yes, we have.
under
We have.
performance, let's say, yeah.
So I think you always have this. I would say in our project we have only one partner that is a bit like this. I'm staying on them basically, and trying to push, sending emails, reminders, sometimes calling them. It's really annoying, but I don't find any better solution. Normally, trying to also give them not so many tasks, and that's basically my strategy to handle these situations.
Yeah, I think I have a similar experience. I suspect some maybe mostly from industry partner, maybe if they maybe not engaging very well during the proposal writing, then I reduce the task, or maybe not given any leading task to them. Maybe that's given. Have for the project running later. Yeah. Okay, so how do you come up with the deliverables? What the strategy for the deliverables of the project?
Yeah, this is changing now a little bit. So normally, I mean, we try to have limit the number of deliverables. And so at that time, we decided to cap it to 3 deliverables per work package, apart from, I think, the dissemination, because there is a fourth one there, because you have to submit the dissemination plan and so on. So we started giving us, an upper bound on the deliverables. This is now with this new funding scheme, the lump sum scheme is of course different, because you normally have activities that end with a work package. So this is going to be different. I would say, I think the European Commission will enforce this. So I think also the definition of the deliverable is much clearer, no? Because you will get basically, you get the pre-financing, and then you will get the other funding at the end of, when you complete activities, which means when work packages ends with a deliverable. So I think now it's much more clear, basically, which is your time limit and so on. At that time, we had a lot of interactions. I would say that in that case, industrial partners were very, very helpful, because they are used to basically work with this mindset, have activities, planning, when to finish, when to deliver, and so on and so forth. But there was no, strict rule on that. It was a lot of common sense, I would say.
So another question I forgot to ask, during the proposal writing, how to build up the writing process. That is also very time consuming. And
You mean build the writing process?
yeah, from the
Yeah,
beginning.
that
For
was
example, I suppose my writing may start 3 or 4 years, 4 months before the deadline. So how
So
do you?
basically, we started, I think, around 8 months before the end of the deadline.
Yeah.
But there was then there was the summer in between, so not really focused. So I think the deadline of my project. So the deadline was March. We started in the summer, but then there was Christmas, summer, so a lot of interruptions. So I basically took this. So I gave basically the proposal has 3 parts: excellence, impact, and implementation. So what I did was, we had the idea. We had a couple of pages, describing the idea very, very compactly and so on. And these 2 pages I put at the very beginning of the proposal to give the reviewer, an overview of it. Then, we started to pitch partners and so on. So what I did was to ask the partners. So first we had a couple of iterations on the work packages. So I proposed a work package structure. Then we had a few iterations. We had consolidated the structure, assigned the work package leaders, and asked the people to fill them.
Okay.
Because I think that's the easiest thing that people in research can do. What you want to do, given this idea, what you want to do, you just describe your research. Then what I asked everyone was to send me, a certain amount of literature review. I would say half a page or 1 page with references. And then I started to harmonize everything. And the impact, basically, there was, this partner that works on dissemination and exploitation communication that took lead on impact writing. They were very good. They were asking us for questions and input in order to basically frame the impact within the call and beyond the call and so on. And and then the rest was mostly writing the excellence. Then that I took on myself, and I was writing all of it basically.
Usually, as I said, the excellent part are usually written by a coordinator. So you need to have the excellent idea, and then you write up, and then the people, let's say another session like implementation, they give follow up the excellence. They try to build the technology around the excellence. Okay, I think we are 2 p.m. now. We are very good. Thank you very much for your the sharing insight into the inverse. It's very, very great experience. And thank you all the audience. And can I remind for the next ECR webinar will be on jobs application. Please follow up and then register to attend. Again, thank you everybody and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.